Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Archer of Truth, Red Arrow. I want to welcome y'all to React with Arrow. We're doing a reaction to Star Wars Outlaws, Wanna Be Your Dream, Open Galaxy by IGN. 21 minutes. Let's get it. I can't wait for this to come out next year. I said next year, next month.
Star Wars open world games is the next level of difficulty.
Julian Geraghty, creative director at Massive Entertainment, is up for a challenge. For the first time ever, we're getting a fully open-world Star Wars video game. It's been a long time coming, but after back-to-back successes with both The Division and The Division 2, Geraghty was in the mood to take a risk.
This may be just my approach, but even if it's scary, you've got to do it. You've got to lean into it. What's the downside to pitching a Star Wars game at Lucasfilm Games in George Lucas's old office? I mean, what's the downside to that? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you still have that experience.
Fast forward several years after that meeting, and Massive Entertainment is less than 2 months away from releasing Star Wars Outlaws, a fully realised version of the original pitch described in that office. An open world of dual ambitions, maintain the cinematic legacy of the films, and create immersive scoundrels.
They probably made this video. Yeah, August 30th. I was about to say. So this must be a video they must have made previous before.
Gameplay that grants you the freedom of the galaxy.
I think it's taken this long to get an open world Star Wars game because of how, excuse the pun, massive it is to build a game like this. There are only so many studios in the world who build games of this scale. The door is then open for Massive to come to us and say, this is what we're interested in doing. This is the type of game design and gameplay we want. This is what we're thinking about in terms of an archetype. Where does that fit?
It's the outlaw player fancy, and it's open world. Those were the two main pillars that we pitched. Why open world? Because the...
You know, this can open up doors for them making like a Boba Fett. Like, imagine we get like a Boba Fett or like a Mandalorian, but I'd rather it'd probably be more Mandalorian. I'd rather it be Mandalorian because then you could have Boba Fett make a guest appearance on there in the game. And you can, like, I can see it now, like, y'all can have it where it could be, like, you fight Boba Fett as, like, a side, like, he a mid-boss. You fight him, and then eventually he becomes part of your team after you're done fighting him, and y'all put I can't speak right. Put y'all differences to the side, and then team up, and you know Mando gotta have Grogu.
Outlaw fancy really needs that to live and breathe.
It's a combination of, I think, our DNA as a studio, our background, when we think, okay, what do we have a lot of experience doing? What do we think we're good at? And this fantasy, the scoundrel in Star Wars begs for freedom.
Massive was fully confident in its abilities to create engaging open worlds. The Division offered a bullet-filled action playground, while last year's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora displayed an ability to work well within a Disney license by building a near-unmatched visual paradise. But Star Wars was the new challenge that this team yearned for. Of course, deciding what kind of experience would live inside a Star Wars open world was the first thing that had to be decided.
We took a step back, of course, and thought, okay, Star Wars open world, what an opportunity. What does that naturally want to be? And it wants to be the full scale from the very small to the very big, meaning sitting inside a cantina, playing sabak, being able to walk through the street, jump on your speeder, drive across the planet's surface, park literally your bike in your own ship, take off into space.
That vision of full scale helped secure a green light from Star Wars custodians, but getting Lucasfilm's blessing was just the key in the ignition. Translating the cinematic spectacle of the original Star Wars movie trilogy into an open world, set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, two of the most iconic films of all time, was the actual challenge. One that Massive set out to address in every aspect of Outlaws, from the way it looks and sounds to the type of action-adventure gameplay it supplies.
Fire up the hyperdrive.
Making it open. I keep forgetting. Let me know in the comments below of, because we keep meaning to look this up, but somebody let me know in the comments below. My arrowheads, I'm looking out for y'all. My arrowheads, I need y'all help. Let me know in the comments below of, so does this take place, I know it takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and all that, so where does Kyle Vestas fits in this world? Will Kyle take place after Outlaw, or would he be before? I would think he would be before Outlaw. Because then that would be cool, too, if they make Kyle and her. Oh, my back itchy. Both of them, you should be able to do, like, what game is it? I'm trying to think of the game. What game am I trying to think of? So I was gonna say Assassin's Creed, but I could use Suicide Squad. But I could still use Assassin's Creed too, where you could play as both of them. Oh, I should have said Assassin's Creed Shadows, where you can play as the ninja, or you could play as the samurai, or the assassin, or the samurai. Like you could swap back and forth to characters. They should have it. They should make a game, a Star Wars game, where you're playing as Kyle Vestas and her. And they going on like adventures, like it should be like some mission they do, and then they both meet each other, and then you play as both of them, and then they both have their little side pets, where she has her pet and he has his robot. That would be cool to have them. Like, let me know in the comments, where does Kyle take place after? Does he take place after her game, or does he take place before her game?
The sort of cinematic
I think he
ambition
takes
that we
place
had
after,
was in
before
presentation.
her game.
So that doesn't mean cinematics necessarily. What I care the most about is the interactive part, right? What we did was take a lot of inspiration from the original trilogy, but with today's technology. So very similar to what Rogue One did. What its aim was to do was to replicate a lot of the sort of filmic effects of those lenses of the 1970s. So you'll see barrel distortion on the sides, vignetting, film grain, chromatic aberration, and of course, all wrapped up in an ultra widescreen presentation.
It's a key point for open world games at large, but I think very much for Star Wars as well. And not always scale in that it needs to be grand, but it needs to be conscious. The scale of Tatooine needs and should and does in our game feel very different. It breeds open sand dunes, long sight lines. You see, it's easy to pick up any little anomaly on the horizon. It might be an opportunity for you compared to the dense streets of Kijimi.
Scale is something written into the very DNA of Star Wars, whether seen on the big or small screen. Greg Fraser, Rogue One's director of photography, recently told IGN that
if you watch any Star Wars film, that's what it's all about. It's, knowing how big a human is going into this massive Millennium Falcon. You know how big the Millennium Falcon is going to this massive Death Star. It's scale upon scale upon scale.
It's a philosophy Garrity and the team at Massive took into Outlaws when crafting the introduction to its open world.
One of our intentions was, for the beginning of the game, to make it feel very small and then bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, beginning of the game, you start off in one room and it's claustrophobic and it's meant to make you feel a little bit trapped. You open up and it's city streets, but it's contained.
Bro, I love
then
the snow effect.
narrative stuff, and you steal a ship and you explode into the galaxy, and all of a sudden you crash land on this planet, which is wide open world. That sort of sense of everything growing for you, and not just the scale of the galaxy, but the scale of the possibilities for you as a character, as a rookie outlaw.
Qᴜɪᴜ, the underworld's favorite new scoundrel.
Outlaws campaign tells the tale of Qᴜɪᴜ, a young scoundrel looking to build a team from across the stars in order to pull off one big space heist and remove the death mark placed on her by the Zerek Besh crime syndicate. It's the basis of a story that evokes many other adventures from across both games and film.
I love Mass Effect 2. It is one of my favorite games. I think there were so many influences, everything from Ocean's 11, Ocean's 8, to Star Wars itself, you know, the previous films, like that heist feeling was always kind of in the fabric, to just tonally the films of Kurosawa, those original influences to George Lucas.
Knowing what sort of story you want to tell is one thing. Telling an engaging story in an open world setting is another task altogether, and one that Qᴜɪᴜ is well aware of, having written for Far Cry 4, 5 and 6, as well as The Division.
It's one of the things you always have to keep in mind is how are we going to weave a narrative and an open world together so that we're telling the story but also giving you the freedom to sort of go wherever you like. We had a really clear approach on Outlaws, which was, there was Kay's journey. We called them sort of lighthouses. There were key points that we knew we want her to hit these, and then that makes her story kind of part of the wider Star Wars narrative. But between those moments, we knew early on that if you got distracted by curiosity, the world had to react to that. It had to expect that the player is going to go off the beaten path.
The things that lie off the beaten path are built in accordance to something Massive refers to as the 3-second rule, where within a few blinks of an eye, you can instantly understand the nature of a location or character and the story behind them.
Before you even put life in them, they need to visually tell a story about what kind of place it is, what's happened in the past, what type of life and events have taken place in them. So they get that lived-in feeling, and that lived-in, relatable, substantial feel, I think is a hallmark of any good open world, but also very Star Wars.
Star Wars aesthetic has always been rooted in the idea of the used future, where everything from the largest spaceships to the tiniest droids have that instantly recognizable layer of grime. Those small details build up into authentic, cool and bespoke spaces, something Massive has always managed to build into its open worlds. The Division and its sequel are packed full of memorable levels ranging from New York landmarks to Washington DC museums, and that philosophy is being transferred to Outlaws' many planets. Its main missions promise to take us to iconic locations such as Imperial bases and Jabba's palace.
We can lean into the virtual tourism aspect of, hey, what is the distance between the moisture farms and Mos Eisley and the cantina? There is a linear roller coaster story golden path, if you will. And around that, of course, there's the open world.
That's the dream I know I had as a kid. That is what I've always wanted from a Star Wars game, is that, you know, when I'm on a journey, when I'm entering into a quest, it might start on foot. It might start navigating a High Republic cruiser that's crashed, but I want to be able to jump into my speeder and blast off, hop into the Trailblazer, take off into space, maybe land in a space station and meet some characters that factor into my quest or journey along the way. And so that sort of connective tissue of planet or moon to space is crucial,
so you can pick which
that's kind of the
planet you wanna go
fantasy
to,
that I
too.
think players are hoping for.
That fantasy and freedom is evidently at the core of Outlaws, and while all 5 planets and moons won't be instantly available to hyperdrive between, Geraghty claims it won't be long into Kay's journey until the galaxy opens up.
There's a very structured
So
intro
that means,
that
so probably when you beat the game, they probably gonna invest and put like DLCs, and you probably could do like still do like missions when you're done with the mission. I mean, when you're done with the story, like once you beat the story, you probably could play around since it's open world. So they probably gonna drop DLCs for it, and you probably still could do missions and all that basically after you beat the story mode.
leads you to crash land on Toshara, which is a moon that we created with Lucasfilm Games. And once you finish the sort of linear narrative on Toshara, the other planets open up. And there it becomes completely non-linear, and you can choose to tackle those in any order you want.
The galaxy.
Make every day a spa day with the expanded collection of exclusive bathroom products.
Exploration of these worlds is highly encouraged, with maps that are not, at least initially, flooded with icons and points of interest, because you're seeing these places from a fresh perspective.
Kay as a character hasn't seen the galaxy. So the first time Kay comes to Toshara is the first time you come to Toshara. And it's not an unknown, uncharted place. So you'll have a map of where you can see there's mountains over there and stuff, but discovery is what gives you more information.
You're going to have to take some risks. You're going to have to go to a cantina, and you can eavesdrop, pick up on some conversations that will lead you to another location that reveals a location within the open world that you have to get on your speeder to go and find. There will be a fog of war that you'll be able to clear up, and that's really where your curiosity will open things up even more.
Each of Outlaws' worlds vary in size. Tashara, Massive's newly created moon, is around the same size as the jungle planet of Akiva, but a little smaller than the vast desert of Tatooine.
It was less about how big, but more about how long in terms of traversal. With the speeder, it would be 4 or 5 minutes non-stop, which doesn't sound like a lot, but once you're committed, it's a fairly large amount. You're always going to be distracted. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was one of the games that we were looking at while creating this, you have different zones, so it's 2 or 3 of those together.
And that doesn't even take into account the vast areas of space that surround each planet and serve as entirely different areas of orbital exploration and opportunity. We'll cover that, as well as the starship side of the game, in greater depth later on in this month's IGN First.
I said, run!
In terms of mission design, we've seen action ranging from stealth infiltrations, frantic dogfights, high-speed chases, and intense blaster battles, with some quests even evolving to include all these elements at different stages. Star Wars Outlaws is thus perhaps better thought of as a single-player narrative action-adventure in the wrappings of an open world, something more akin to Marvel's Spider-Man than dense RPGs like The Witcher or Ubisoft's recent Assassin's Creed games. Its mixture of popcorn action and blockbuster narrative ambition is a departure from Massive's gear-based experience on The Division. It's a new chapter in the continued evolution of a studio that started life as a real-time strategy developer.
I think if you look at the evolution of open world between Division 1 and Division 2, there's a life, a dynamism, a systemic quality to Division 2 that we didn't have in Division 1. I'm not talking about the presentation, the soft values at all. I'm talking about pure gameplay experience, single player or cooperative. That was very, very important to us to have as a living, breathing element that engages players while they're playing Outlaws.
It's an evolution of what Massive has been doing in their games for years now, keeping worlds feeling bustling and alive even when set against post-apocalyptic backdrops or in the midst of galactic wars.
We, in both Division games, but especially in the second one, developed what we call living world systems. So same thing here. We have systems that make sure that the world is always alive.
Bro, it just looks so wonderful, bro. Like, they're showing gameplay. They're showing cinematic. So you... Oh my gosh, bro. I can't wait for this. Because I figured that they got to be showing more trailers of... They're going to be showing more trailers of a Star Wars because it comes out in August. And then they might drop some more trailers in August. Same for Assassin's Creed. They're probably not going to drop no more Assassin's Creed until November. So they're probably going to drop content, what's after August? September, yeah. September, where they're going to probably start dropping Assassin's Creed videos leading to their...
With movement, traffic, speeders zipping around, the Empire patrolling, the syndicates have footholds out there, sometimes more substantial events happen. It's really up to you if you want to engage or not.
Perhaps Outlaw's most interesting method of breathing life into its open world is its approach to character progression. There's no leveling up or incremental stat boost to drop experience points into. Instead, Kay's ability and equipment are linked to experts, people you'll meet across the galaxy who'll grant you upgrades in exchange for work.
I heard you're the best shot on the planet.
Which that makes sense to do it that way, to switch up the play style by having you unlock certain things by doing certain missions for certain people, which that makes sense because it's a Star Wars game and you have bounties and you ask them questions. That makes sense. Where on like Assassin's Creed is a different approach where you can bribe people to unlock things and all that. So it makes sense.
And you want to be second best.
they are full-on characters. You don't know exactly who they are, what exactly they have to offer you, and how to reach them from the very beginning. So there's this journey of discovery here as well. Intel, clues, okay, I think there's a guy or gal or something that can do good things to my speeder here. Meaning these are really strong incentives for you to move around and journey through the world and expose yourself to other fun things on the way. And once you reach them, there's a character there to interact with and an adventure to go on, because they want instantly just, oh, here you go, right? And then they essentially open up a little regional progression for you where the nature of unlocking those things is also very tangible.
For example, after finding a Jawa by sourcing their location from overheard intel at a cantina, you can complete a mission for them in order to gain a new skill. In this case, it's to venture into a dead Sarlacc to find a pristine tooth from its second mouth, which you can then exchange for a laser turret for Kay's starship, the Trailblazer. It's a smart way of blending gameplay progression with narrative befitting of the Star Wars criminal underbelly.
You can go on a journey.
Ooh. Well, I want to know if you can get in that. That would be cool. Hopefully you can. I kind of low-key want to see if you can go inside of it. It'd be cool if you can. No, that's cool. You know your boy, bro. We gonna be repping black and red all over ships, speeder bikes, her outfit, Nyx's outfit. But then yeah, I do want to go for that all white too.
With the characters,
because they're probably gonna show more. They're probably not gonna show us a lot on the game. Like they're gonna show small details like they're doing now. So I figure we're probably, if they don't show it in this, then we're probably gonna get it in like probably another episode, because they're probably gonna show us more on the speeder bike. Well, they're showing it now. But I guess the dog fights and the space fights, they're probably gonna show that. They said they was gonna show that in another video. So they might either, if they don't show it in here, they might show it in that video of the customization, because they really haven't talked about the customization and dived into it of like the outfits where you could put on Cal, Nyx, and then customizing your ship and your speeder bike and your weapons.
As an expert who is going to teach Kay a new skill, give her a new upgrade, to her blaster. That skill, that upgrade definitely ties into Kay pulling off the heist, but it's also very much its own journey, which is in the Star Wars tradition as well.
Another system aiming to marry gameplay with narrative is how Outlaws tracks Kay's reputation with each of the criminal syndicates. Her bond with each of the Hutts, Pikes, Crimson Dawn and Ashiga clan will strengthen or weaken depending on your choices in dialogue and mission objectives.
I'm gonna finish it. Shame.
Your reputation moving in the positive direction unlocks a lot of things for you. Everything from actual access to territory that they control, where you might have been able to sneak in otherwise, to landing pads in the open world, discount with traders affiliated with the syndicate, unique, really exotic rewards, etc., etc. But if you really get on their bad side, that's another thing that you will feel dynamically in the game, because they actually send hit squads out for you in the open world.
The reputation system doesn't.
It'll be. They gotta have it in. They gotta have it in here, where you definitely gotta like get in a disguise of like a stormtrooper outfit. Like, bro, let it. Like I'll either take it two ways. You either have it where Cal. Well, see, but then it wouldn't be. That's why they gotta dive more into the customization with the outfits. Because they might keep her outfit the same, but just change it up varieties of it. Like her snow outfit, it looks the same like her regular outfit, but it's more bulky, more snow outfit. So if that's the case, we probably won't get a stormtrooper outfit. But then I'm thinking, like, how else would you get it? Because, like, it would be cool for her to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Infiltrate like a stormtrooper base wearing a stormtrooper outfit. Like, that'd be so funny and cool to have her in it.
Doesn't just sit inside of missions though. Smaller opportunities regularly present themselves to boost your relationships among the syndicates. These might be smaller skirmishes where choosing to get involved can benefit you and the organisation you side with, and a strong bond may even help you out with the bigger threat looming over the galaxy.
This is getting bad. Hold tight!
If you've for whatever reason ended up wanted and you're being chased by Empire and you cross paths with a syndicate that you have really good reputation with at the moment, they might join in and help you out.
Outlaws directly follows the events of The Empire Strikes Back and sees the Imperial forces at the peak of their powers. In gameplay terms, the Stormtroopers are basically like GTA's police and adopt a similar wanted system. Find yourself in a restricted area or accidentally fire a stray laser bullet at a Stormtrooper and you'll quickly find yourself in hot water. It's by no means a revolutionary system when it comes to open world design, but one that is made all the more exciting thanks to a lick of Imperial black and white paint.
It has a good range of escalation and de-escalation. It's really up to you if you want to try and hide or maybe bribe an Imperial officer that's a bit corrupt in a city somewhere or try to jump to a different space region. But you will feel it, and let's just say there are Death Troopers for a reason.
Hang on!
Yeah, see, I would definitely, of all of the squads, I would definitely, so, to jump back on that, but I'm going to jump back on that in a second. But, so what they're saying is like, whoever you're good with, they might, well, he said might, but most likely they will. Whoever you're good with, they might come and help you as support. So I'm thinking, I'm going Stormtroopers because you just heard them say they got Death Troopers too. So imagine you fighting like the Hutts or something and Stormtroopers come down in their ships and just jump out that boy and start helping you. Because you got all different Stormtroopers from like the regular ones, the ones with the machine guns, the ones with the flamethrowers, they even got the snow outfits. And then you got the Death Troopers too. Bruh, I'll be squadding, bro. I'm going for the...
What's happening?
How the heck would I know? Just shoot!
Oh, I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm going with the Stormtroopers.
Beyond the main missions, expert side missions, and the reputation system at the core of it all, many other snackable activities exist in Outlaws open world. These range from quick contracts such as smuggling and stealing.
Plus, if you, I feel like, plus if you work with the Stormtroopers and the Empire, they let you get access to going into certain spots. And they could probably, and think about it. When you have a dogfight in space, they can be helping you because they're like basically going to be up there as space police. They'll be helping you take out Hutts and all the other factions, bro.
Gambling in Sabacc to playing asteroid-filled arcade shooter games and betting on Canto Bight's Favia racing. All of these activities bolster your ever-growing supply of credits, which can be used to purchase new customization and gear options for Kate, her pet-like alien companion Nyx, and the Trailblazer. And yet, there's more. Emergent events frequently take place throughout the open world, whether on land or in space.
Every 2-3 minutes there'll be something that's happening, whether it's an ambush or the Empire arresting some civilians or combat with some criminal syndicates, and it's up to you whether you want to engage or not.
So with so much to do in Star Wars Outlaws, how does Massive go about avoiding open world bloat? With a near endless galaxy of opportunity, there's the worry that things may spiral, feature creep sets in, and everything just gets too big. The studio had a clear plan from the start though, leading with variety over size, quality over quantity, if you will.
We don't want things to be just big for big's sake. We need it to be contained, always fun, always proposing different activities.
It's about calibrating size to substance. When you see something that breaks the pattern, that stands out for whatever reason, you go there and look, there's something there to do, and that repeats frequently enough, and that the quests, the bespoke kind of content of the game makes use of it, so that it doesn't feel like a separate experience, but it's all one.
Of course, no matter how much there will be to do in Outlaws, one thing that can be expected is a healthy helping of nods to the larger Star Wars galaxy. Lando is set to make an appearance, and we've already seen a glimpse of Han Solo and Carbonite, but it sounds like they might just be the tip of the iceberg.
There's Easter eggs, there's characters that you'll meet along the way across the main quests and across.
Could we meet? I think, freak, because I'm not all up on my Star Wars lore, but I think we could possibly meet Boba Fett in here, Or we can also meet possibly, is it Django? Not Django Hutt. I'm thinking. Let me know in the comments below. I forget what his name is. I don't know why. I think it does start with a J. Let me look it up. Cause Boba Fett had a mini fight with him on the Boba Fett TV show. He's a bounty hunter. He got like I think he got blue skin with the mask. Boba Fett. Oh, Cal Bane, that's what his name is. Yeah, Cal Bane. We possibly could be seeing Cal Bane or Boba Fett in here. Because this would be like this would be somewhere where you would have Boba Fett and like Cal Bane to be in as bounty hunters and stuff. Ooh.
Whether it's the experts or, you know, the wider stories you're going to stumble across. August 30th is a really great date. I recommend bookmarking it in your calendar.
August 30 is right around the corner. A short wait for many players for whom an open world game set in a galaxy far, far away has been a long-held dream. I could feel a similar passion for Star Wars coming out of each person I spoke to at Massive, and for them, I can't help but get the sense that that dream is a shared one. Making open world games is tough, and bringing open world to Star Wars may well bring an extra level of difficulty, but for ģeṛityt and the team, it's been a challenge worth taking on.
I'm not as young as I used to be, and I'm getting to that point where I think I can count the number of games I can do till I'm put out to pasture on one hand, and it becomes more and more important to me to choose what I do, because it's really important for me to do quality work with people that I love working with. And Star Wars is definitely bucket lists.
So, where do we go next?
Anywhere we want.
We'll have more exclusive looks at Star Wars Outlaws for you throughout July, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
Alright, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are y'all excited for this Star Wars game? If y'all had to pick question of the day, I gotta start doing that question of the day at the end of my videos. Question of the day. Let me know my arrowheads in the comments below. If you had to pick a character for them to make a Star Wars game around, like I said, Boba Fett, or I say my two would be Boba Fett. I mean not two. 3. Either a Boba Fett game, a Mandalorian game, or a Cal Kestis and Cal Kestis and K. That's what I meant to say. Cal and K Star Wars video game with both of them meeting each other and you playing as both of them. If you had to pick a character, let me know in the comments below, and I'll read the comments and I'll make sure I'll mention them in my next video. But as being said, it's been your boy, the Archer of Truth. Make sure y'all get your arrows. Shoot them at the like button. Shoot at the subscribe button. Become a member of the Arrowheads. It's been your boy, the Archer of Truth himself. And I want to thank y'all for coming by where to react with Arrow. It's been your boy, Red Arrow. See y'all for the next one. Take care.
Make sure y'all get y'all arrow. For that boy, shoot it right at the like button, subscribe button, and become a member of the Arrowheads.